Hey, everybody, your designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home. And we've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you. So let's get started.
Today is episode 102, The Making of a Fall Vignette.
I can
fall is in the
feel
air.
I can feel that fall breeze right now. I mean, it's
I could
cooling
send you
off.
fall breezes.
I
to
wish
Houston.
you would.
I would.
Seriously.
I could use a few of those too. It's
Yes,
a
you
little
could,
toasty
Miss
here.
California.
Yeah. Before we get started today, we want to tell you about something else that's fallish and fabulous. Our friend Jennifer Carroll at Celebrating Everyday Life has partnered with Country Sampler to bring you the most beautiful magazine, which is called Celebrating Everyday Life. And this issue is all about the fall. And it is stunning, and it happens to feature 2/3 of the decorating tips and tricks team. Anita and Yvonne are featured along with some other really wonderful, creative women who are bloggers, and or some of them may or may not be bloggers, but they have all come together under the direction of Jennifer as the editor to produce this beautiful magazine. So I'm hoping that you can all find it on your newsstands.
Beautiful. And I'm so excited to see it because I've only seen it online. And so I'm very excited to see it in person.
And everything Jennifer touches is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And
She's got
put together quite a team there.
An amazing
you guys.
aesthetic.
Speaking of magazines, I think we would be remiss not mentioning a certain somebody is going to be in American Farmhouse Style magazine soon.
And who is that?
Oh, yes.
Miss
that's
Kelly.
right.
Yes, Kelly's. Yes.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Well, you know, Anita is, she has had her share, and so has Yvonne. And this was my first experience in having a magazine come. They came last Friday.
I'm so excited for you.
We won't be able to see it until the summer of 2018. I had to scurry my pumpkins away
That's the way
to
this
the closet.
works. I know they do the photography, and sometimes it's a year later before you see it on the stands.
But absolutely lovely people. And the team was here all day long. And I was nervous as could be, but it really, I thought, went off really beautifully. Or at least they seemed to
be gorgeous.
They seemed to like it. So that was good. Yeah. But thank you for mentioning that. It was exciting.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's talk about the making of a fall vignette. What we're going to do today is talk to you about things that you could put in a fall vignette. But I want you to remember when you're doing a vignette, corralling something in a basket or tray or on a table runner is really important. Varying your heights of the things that are in the vignette. Texture.
Can we go back to the corralling for a second? And
yes,
take
of
each
course.
little element because
Absolutely.
because I knew you mentioned it, but I really want to focus on that because I think that's really key here. It's so much easier to pull a vignette together if you start with a table runner or a tray, because then it kind of visually tells you this is the space that you're working with.
Right.
And so you know where it begins and ends, and that's the space that you're going to decorate.
And I love to use very textural baskets in the fall for mine. It's just like putting a rug on the floor. One of the two of you said that in a previous podcast and episode, and I've always remembered that. It just gives you parameters of where you're going to build your vignette. Okay, so varying height, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Lots of texture, lots of different, you want to do things that are smooth, things that are shiny, things that are rough, things that are chippy, lots of textures going on in a vignette.
Yeah, and I think if you need to vary that because if it's all the same texture, it begins to feel boring and it begins to feel expected. So even if you have several of something similar in there, maybe several silver things or several maybe white ironstone pieces, you want to throw something in that has a very different texture to give it, and that's what gives it its interest, and it's maybe a little unexpected something in there.
Wonderful point, Anita. The next thing is have something organic in your vignette, and that could be boxwood, sprigs of boxwood. It could be a willow ball. Something that comes from the outside.
It doesn't have to be something you have to water.
And it doesn't have to be living at when you put it in. Right. But like even moss, something that was once living. That's right. And then,
and as we're talking about these things, I also wanted to bring up this talk of the colors. Because, there are the traditional fall colors, which include obviously orange and rust and brown, but that's not everybody's colors. So even if that's not your color, you can still do so much of this with other colors. So it can be done. I just want to point that out.
And the other thing we're going to talk about is doing something in odd numbers, your vignette. Odd numbers is very attractive to our mind's eye. And will come across as looking much more pleasing than something that has an even number in it.
Well, and I keep thinking about your pheasant feathers. So I'm wondering, Kelly, what do you think we have to do to get some of those feathers shipped our way?
Well, listen, I did say
to my
Amazon. I did say to my son-in-law, because he'll be pheasant hunting. We were down for the weekend and we went to a professional football game and had just so much fun. Did the whole tailgating route. And I said, listen, you've got to shoot pheasants for me this year and save all the feathers, because I said, my girls are counting on a package of pheasant feathers from us.
Oh, yay. She's taking care of us.
I am. Oh, and that's something you can put in a fall vignette, like an ironstone creamer with a bunch of pheasant feathers. Say that 3 times.
Sorry, I think that would be beautiful.
Yes. Okay. Anybody have anything else to put in our fall vignette?
Pine cones. I think that might be something you could do.
Pine cones are not for Christmas. They're
not only for Christmas,
right? Christmas or fall. Yeah.
There's a lot of texture in them. They're organic, and pine cones look great mixed with white pumpkins.
Well, the thing is, when you don't have, there's nothing wrong with a sign that says fall or autumn, but guess what? You don't have to do that. It can be a much more subtle nod to the seasons where you're using natural elements. And that really is my preference, is to use a lot of natural elements to give a nod to whatever season you're in. So you're going to be pulling out what would be out in nature right now. The pheasant feathers, maybe there's some acorns, pine cones, maybe some bare branches. So, I think these are the things that you really want to bring in your house and put on that tray.
And another thing that Kelly talked about before was magnolia leaves. And I just got a bunch of faux ones because the top of them are green, but the underside is that beautiful brown.
Looks like a suede brown.
Suede. Yeah. When she said suede, I thought that's it. So I got some of those and I'm
How do they look?
them.
Are they good? Is it a good
Oh, they look beautiful. And I did them on my mantle. And you said this too, Kelly, with magnolia leaves and with cotton bowls.
Yeah.
And
those are great too.
They look beautiful together. I did throw a little bit of some fall looking berries into the mix just so people knew it was, they could tell it's fall. I think burlap books work all the times of the year. But if, I'm such a huge proponent of covering books in burlap, but they look perfect for autumn.
I would love to see any old vintage books, I think would look great in this vignette. So burlap wrapped is great. If you don't have that, just grab some of your older looking books. I would also kind of look at whatever colors you're using in this particular vignette that you're making and make sure that your books are going to work with those colors.
That's a good point. I'll put my link to how to cover burlap books and still be able to read them in the show notes. And here's another one, velvet pumpkins.
Oh,
I know.
Yes.
I know there's a couple of us who have gotten some beautiful velvet pumpkins.
I have some coming.
From Love Feast Shop.
Yes, Love Feast Shop.
Oh, now I have this orange one. Well, it's called Aura. I think that's what it's called. It means d'or. That's what it's called. Means gold in French, and it's orange satin velvet. That the way it's folded and the light hits it looks very golden at the top and seeps into this gorgeous burnt orange. And around the real pumpkin stem is a collar of feathers.
Everyone should be aware of that.
I'm just sighing about it.
Oh, yes. Take a moment. When this episode is released, we will be in the middle of our Be Home fall tour. Now, Be Home is
That's
our
right.
app that we have. We have a curated collection of about 55 other bloggers on there with us. And I think about 20 or some odd of us have gotten together for this fall. And the giveaway are velvet pumpkins. So pop over to my blog or Yvonne's blog, and you'll get all the links to pop around, and you can enter.
And I'll also put, I have a couple posts done with them, and I'll put those in the show notes as well.
So where are we putting this vignette? Have we talked about that yet?
Oh,
well, one per room.
One per room.
Oh, there you go.
I don't say do more than one. It just gets too crowded looking.
So it could be on your buffet, on your kitchen table, on your coffee table, on your end table, your dining room table,
your bedroom.
It could be on your kitchen island, right?
And if you do a little one, it could be on your bathroom sink.
There you go.
What about lanterns? Since the nights are getting shorter,
I think that's a great idea. And then I love taking the lanterns and changing out the ribbon at the top for whatever season it is. So you could easily add a beautiful fall-inspired ribbon to the top of your lantern.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
I also have just candles on big chunky candlesticks.
Yeah, if you put the big candles, then you could also slip in, just put your big candle in, open up your lantern, obviously, put your big candle in. These would have to be on timers, which a lot of them are on the little remotes, because you don't want to be lifting out. And then you can pour in your bag of collected acorns around.
Or what about if it's not cold enough to use your fireplace yet? If you have a wood burning fireplace, you can put a bunch of candles in there and light them. I love that look.
Beautiful.
So inviting and cozy.
And don't forget, how about a bowl of pears, a bowl of apples?
Oh, sure.
Yes,
The fruits of the season.
The fun thing to do is just also stick some, even if they're faux colored leaves in amongst your fruit in a bowl. It just elevates it. Maybe throw a little bit of acorns in there.
You know what I did a couple of years ago? Everybody sees these, at your Rite Aid, CVS, whatever, when they have those. So I can't help. I like to just go down the cheesy decor aisle in those stores because, sometimes the bones of something are really good. And you think, well, that's really cute. I don't like the scary pumpkin face it has, but if I spray painted it,
I knew spray paint was going to come
or
up.
just use that scouring thing and make your own little pumpkin out of it, right,
Kelly? Those are pretty famous, I must say.
They are.
But they're not in the decor aisle. They're in the home cleansing aisle. But here, let me just get back to those leaves. You can get those little packages of leaves, like it's a little cellophane packet, and maybe they're $1.49 for 12 leaves or 20 leaves or something like that. And they're that really sort of almost like candy corn ombre colors. They're really like, not so much. Okay, buy a couple of packets of those, spread them out on a piece of cardboard, not on a windy day, and spray paint them. I did that.
What color?
I did gold.
Gold, I knew it.
I like that idea.
And they were so pretty. And I made a little banner of them one year, and I just tied them with a nice thick twine, and it was so simple, and it just really looked pretty on the mantle.
Attach it to the bunting, like she talked about. If you had some bunting, the flags,
with an old clothespin.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
Yes. Oh, great idea.
So cute.
And here's another thing. I should have mentioned this when we're talking about things to corral your vignette in. I use an old chippy shutter and I put it on my dining room table, and then I put like pumpkins down the center of it.
Oh, interesting.
With seeded eucalyptus or whatever
You could even put a piece of glass on top of it if you couldn't put stuff on top of the shutter itself.
Wow.
Especially if you have things on there, food items that you wanted to eat later, you wouldn't want them on the old shutter if it's got old base paint or
it's totally
something.
decorative, but boy, does it look nice.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Well, and the squashes. I mean, there's so many things you can get. There's some decorative squashes you can get in the fall at the grocery store. I mean, those are great to work with also.
Have you seen the squashes where they're laying on their side like they should, and they cut the center, where the top part of it out and put a votive in it?
Oh, that's a nice idea.
And that, now I would have to put that like on a big stack of books so I could watch that votive, because I have a thing about like light, like a live flame, unsupervised flame. But that would be such a pretty idea. Now, here's something that you wouldn't think of. Looks good for fall, but it works wonderfully. We collect all of our corks that we use after we have a bottle of wine. And we were talking about where to collect them. And I have these small square, they're almost like a cube glass containers. And I have 3 of them. And I fill each one with corks, and I line them up in a row in a vignette. And that looks so nice.
Oh, I bet. That looks really pretty.
Because it just brings so much texture, and the color is perfect for fall.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think even the little, again, like the dollar store sort of things, look out for the different shaped gourds and cones. They come in plastic, right? And they're really not looking so hot, but think of them dressed in different clothes, so to speak. I have a bunch of those that I bought one year. And again, I spray painted them different colors and they look so great. So, explore those sorts of places as well. Another idea is to get a little piece of fabric, maybe a plaid or just something sort of nubby and something that would evokes the fall, and tuck it inside your white pitcher or tuck it inside a vase and then put some branches in. It adds another dimension to your vignette. It could add a little bit of color if, depending on your palette. And then you could put some branches in, or some of those. How about the wheat sheaves? You can either buy them individually.
I use those too. Mm-hmm. And now is the time to go ahead, and there aren't a lot of places you can get these. I think I've gotten them maybe on Amazon, but there are a lot of ribbons made in the UK based on certain tartans. So they're plaids, and you can get them in whatever color combinations, whatever patterns. And if you're from a particular Scottish clan, you can get your tartan into a ribbon. And they're really, I found some that are made in the UK, and they're the most beautiful ribbon. It's just high quality ribbon, and you can work that into your vignette. And I think it's really beautiful.
Here's another idea for you. If you have hydrangeas, now's the time to get them and bring them in. They should have started to dry, and they have the most beautiful papery look. Lots of them have very saturated colors, and just put them in a big dough bowl or put tons of them together. You might as well get them off the tree because they're just going to die, and put them in something just beautiful to put in a vignette.
That's a great idea. And it's not really a vignette per se. You could lay it flat and have it as a vignette, but maybe you grab a grapevine wreath, and you can just easily tuck the little stems of the hydrangeas all around it, sort of evenly spaced all around. You could use that as the corralling. You could maybe put some candles or something inside of it, or of course you could use it traditionally as a wreath. But wow, that's literally a 10-minute wreath.
That is truly
easy peasy.
How about, you can get these candle rings that have a lot of fall elements on them, and use them on as the base of your pumpkin. So you want to put your candle ring down, fluff it all out, and stick a little pumpkin on top of it. So you've got these cute little berries and leaves and things coming up around the pumpkin.
Oh, that's sweet. That's a cute idea.
That looks so nice if you put it on a few books, like a few burlap books, stick that on the top, and even maybe put a cloche on that.
Put a cloche on it.
Put a cloche on it. That's right.
Yeah, that works everywhere.
Everybody looks better with a cloche on. I love that idea. I'm going to do that. Even you could just grab some Spanish moss and make a little nest for it.
Oh, how cute would that be?
Yeah. Right? So how about this? You have a cloche. You have a stack of, the books would have to be super tiny unless your cloche was big. So let's say maybe it's not on books, but you have the pumpkin and you have the little Spanish moss nest, and then a little white pumpkin or a little orange pumpkin, and then tucked inside there on one of the sides, maybe a little tuft of hydrangea and the cloche on top of it.
Pretty. That sounds really pretty. Yeah.
And then now's the time also to get those deer sheds out. And if you, which are antlers, deer antlers. And if you don't have access to them, there's plenty of faux ones that you can get online. And I even have a beautiful magnifying glass that's a horn handle.
Oh, and I think too. I should get that out.
Yeah, I think this is a nice time to have that setting out. Or even if you have a little figurine of a deer or an elk or something, I think it's kind of a nice time to set those out right now.
I also think in a fall vignette is to have something like a bowl of nuts and a nutcracker. Now, for decorative purposes, you might need to have another bowl somewhere with a nutcracker for families who like to do that. That's just been a part of our tradition and history here at Stone Gable.
Yeah, I think, and you could also change out take little tiny little tiny paintings and put them on little easels.
Oh, I love that look.
I have a few of them that I've collected from the Rose Bowl, and they're really small and they work in a vignette, or they're probably too little to stand alone. But if you put them on a little easel, it sort of elevates it. And I have a couple that are little fall scenes, and I love to take those out, and particularly in my entryway, and I'll put that with a candle and maybe a little floral arrangement or something like that.
To make a lovely vignette.
Yeah, again, a little nod to the season.
And if you can't find a painting, just find a postcard or a card you want and cut it down.
Yeah.
And put it in a little frame. Or find something that has thankful, grateful, or something like that, something very small that you can tuck into a frame and put in your vignette. That's a good idea.
Yeah, there are so many printables out there in Blogland, right? They should be able to find something.
another thing that goes really well with the fall things is brown and white transferware.
Oh, it does.
Wouldn't that be gorgeous? And a lot of the
love.
old stuff has the crazing and it's maybe stained a little bit. And honestly, that makes the item not as valuable. But I really like it because it just has those signs of age and it tends to feel kind of organic and it's just great for fall.
Mm-hmm. How about log slices as risers?
Oh,
great
idea.
You can get those birch log slices.
Well, you can even write on them.
Oh, I love that look.
So where do you get something like that? Can you order that on Amazon?
I bet you, yeah, I'm sure you could. But there's a couple of local shops that carry things like that in my area. Okay. And I really like to go to my local shops for some of those kinds of interesting decor.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What about wood blocks? I know Anita and I have both from Heritage Lace gotten these beautiful, they're stamps, but they're wood blocks. They're thick. They're pieces of wood and that have the white detailing on the front of them. Mm-hmm. And I have put them in my fall decor and they look beautiful.
Mm. And think out of the box when you're putting your vignette together. Like Anita said in the beginning, it's the texture, yes, and maybe something that's just a little off. It's just it doesn't just something that creates that interest, like gives it that little edge, and you're like, oh, I wouldn't have expected that there. That's interesting. Like if you stumbled upon an old camera and you just like its lines, or you like photography, something like that could be mixed in with some little branches and a little tartan something or other. It doesn't all have to be just a decor item. Mm-hmm. It's something that it just feels right, maybe evokes the season, but something that gives it a little tension is also really great in a vignette.
That's a very good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about mums? We haven't talked about the quintessential flower of fall, which I think is mums. And I use mums a lot in my vignettes, but I also take them out of their plastic container and put them into something else. And I tuck usually little pumpkins and little gourds sometimes around the edge of the container or I put a grapevine wreath on top of the whatever I'm putting them in, like let's say a crock, and then plant my mum then in the crock. So you've got this great grapevine looking brambly thing as almost like a collar around.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Mm-hmm. How many things do you usually put in a vignette, Yvonne?
Well, boy, that's very variable.
Mm-hmm.
At least 5, because I do pretty big vignettes.
Okay. Is there a point where you'd say, whoa, 13, too many, 27, too many?
Yeah. I think if you're getting up past the teens, we may need to edit a little bit.
Yeah, it might be time to stop, right? Because it's oozing out. It's not. Yeah, I like to stick with 3 or 5 generally, and create just little statement pieces. And it could be 3, could be tiny things or bigger things. And I think 5 maybe on my dining table or on a bigger coffee table works. But for me, I think when I get too many items, maybe some like scattered acorns or something like that. I'm not really counting those, but the main piece is maybe 3 to 5. Anita, do you have a rule of thumb on that?
No, I mean, I'm kind of I keep working till it looks right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. And I think when I think of that, I'm thinking usually a basket. Okay, I'm going to do a riser of 3 books. I'm going to put, if I can get 3 pumpkins, if they're larger on that little tiny pumpkins on those books, I put like a trio of pumpkins. Okay, let's say I'm going to do, I'll do my mom's. I'll put my mom in something and stick some gourds and things around that, and maybe a little box and or just like a couple of like little votive candles in there to make it pretty. So that's sort of how it goes. Or I'll stick in, instead of the votives, if I want to just put candles on either side of my vignette, I might put in a container of cork. Those are just things I'm thinking off the top of my head that I think.
Yeah, I've got a little container. It's a little dish that's got a lid, and it's a white pumpkin with some gold accents. And, I think it's nice to have a few things like that. I wouldn't go overboard on that because I really like the natural elements pulled in.
Me too.
But I think it's nice to maybe have 1 or 2. I mean, that certainly makes it easier when you're pulling things together because it already says fall without you doing anything else.
Yes.
I've been also using those decorative orbs I make out of embroidery hoops.
Oh, yeah.
They just go with everything. And I've been using those a lot. Think also of like bittersweet. I have 3 little tiny, milk bottles. They're really small. They're maybe like 3 inches tall. And then just a couple sprigs of bittersweet, but a trio of them stacked on books looks so nice. Bittersweet's wonderful to use for fall.
Oh, sounds so nice.
Mm-hmm. How about any architectural pieces, something that's chippy?
Like a corbel or something.
Absolutely. Or I'm even thinking like a spindle.
Well, and I've used old spindles. I have some stocky looking ones that I got at Round Top, and I use them for candlesticks.
Oh, beautiful.
So we didn't mention candlesticks. They can go in there too.
Yeah, candlesticks can go in. Bottles, like especially this time of year, if you can find some brown bottles.
Yeah, the ambery brown
yes,
bottles are so
they
pretty.
Look beautiful.
Skeleton keys, you can find those at lots of little antique stores or sort of an antique market. Sometimes there'll just be a big giant bin of them. You get them for under $1. Those may be tied together with some twines, kind of splayed out over a little stack of books,
or just even tied around that chunky architectural candle.
Oh yeah, dangling from that. That would be great.
I think that some stained wood is really nice to use. Maybe it's a little box or something else made out of wood, or a candlestick or something. But I think
I'm really into small boxes lately.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. I love them. There's so many pretty ones too.
What about candy corn?
I think you got the thumbs down.
I did. But candy corn would be fun, like in a little, maybe a little
I think in the
container
right
that's
place
shaped like
you
a
could do
pumpkin with a
Yeah,
lid.
no, it could be. It's kind of like my whimsy,
The leaves, like the
like
leaves.
my crayons in the orange
Yeah,
crayons.
that's
and the
right.
thing.
Because like in the
if you
spring
put a pretty
here-
jar and you put some, like you would jelly beans. Is that what you were going to say, Anita?
Well,
Something
no, the Good and Plenty. Well, I like to have the
Oh, the
pink
Good and
stuff, so I'll do
Plenty.
it around Valentine's Day. They'll have the Hershey Kisses in the pink and
Right.
wrappers, and then some other pretty pink candies. I like to find all the pink candies and put them in different containers.
But if you have nuts or candy in my house, and I've got my kids coming home now, I did teach them better than this.
Oh,
Because they knew not to touch the show candy or the show
Show
nuts.
candy.
Well, I don't mind when
That's
people
right.
eat it. It's there to eat. But I mean, I take my pictures and then it's up for grabs.
But if it's in a vignette with something, I'll just have it somewhere else in my house because I know it'll get eaten.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I'll
so
come
funny.
by and it'll just be like wiped out. Nobody wants to fess to it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, and I love using macaroons for photographs, and there's no way I'm letting
they're
those
so
go
beautiful.
to waste. So we always eat those.
They're delicious, but those are so delicious. Here's another idea. Instead of corralling your vignette in a basket or a tray, what about finding a really cool tartan throw?
oh,
Putting
yeah.
that's a
down
great
on
idea.
A table.
Swap
Yeah.
that over a table. I like that idea.
Or
And
some great fat flannel plaid material.
you know what I found last year at one of the Children's Guild here? Has a big thrift store or event every year, and I got 4 stadium blankets, the plaid ones, and they're
nice.
they even have the old label on them, like wool by whoever.
Oh, nice.
And they're super
Nice.
itchy. Like you would not want to use these, but I put them out
They're
on the porch.
warm.
They are warm, but they would look great. Like now I'm getting that idea. Maybe I'll swath one across the dining room table and do a whole pumpkin
yeah.
thing there.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Thanks for the
a great
idea.
idea.
Oh my, we're here
And then
to
what
inspire
about-
you.
That's right. What about those horns too? I found an old horn at the thrift store. And it kind of reminds me of a hunting horn, so I like to use that in a vignette also.
Yes. Another one, flowering cabbage or kale.
Oh, I love kale.
Instead
great
of mums.
idea.
Love
I do
kale.
too. I do too.
And that kale in your containers, I mean, unless you're really in the Arctic, that's going to carry you all the way through. That lasts a long
Yes.
time.
It does last a very long time. That's right.
Well, speaking of time, ladies, I think we
I
got to
know.
roll.
Oh,
I got to go make this vignette now. I got to remember where I put those
I
stadium
know.
blankets.
Oh, this has
Okay,
been
well,
so fun. So fun.
it
So I'm so glad we've been,
has.
and I've gotten so many ideas. Seriously, I've got to go work on mine now. So remember. So thanks for joining us today. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.